Incredible job finishing under 41.
So tired. Good morning, YouTube. What's up, guys? How are you today? I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. As you might know, I ran a half marathon on Sunday, and if you don't know, welcome to the channel. I ran a half marathon on Sunday. My goal was to PR, was to break my record time and really hit it out of the park. And I'm glad to say, and I'm really excited to say that I did exactly that, and I exceeded my expectations, and I kind of killed it. And I never brag like this. I'm just really, really excited. So a couple days before the race, I put out a video about my pace goals, my nutrition goals, what I'm gonna wear, my gear, and my mindset goals. So I'm gonna kind of go back over all those things now that the race is over and see kind of how I did and talk a little bit about the race. And I hope you guys enjoy it. This is gonna be my New York City Turkey Trot half marathon race recap video.
Morning.
Morning.
Oh, support crew has a bagel, I see.
Hey now, honey, I've been driving around in my car, looking for some kind of open bar. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright. Got no money, but I'll work.
Walking to the start, which who the hell knows where it even is. Oh, there's a turkey. I see an inflatable turkey. It's really cold out. Okay.
Get out with my charm, having a good time, ain't doing no harm. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright. Hey now, honey, I've been driving around in my car, looking for some kind of open bar. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright. Got no money, but I'll work it out with my charm, having a good time, ain't doing no harm. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright.
Here we are. It's a little bit of chaos here at the race site. 5K runners coming in, pedestrians literally in the way. Here's Emily looking good. Good job, good job.
Looking for some kind of open bar. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright. Got no money, but I'll work it out with my charm, having a good time, ain't doing no harm. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright.
Stay nice and relaxed.
Honey, I've been driving around in my car, looking for some kind of open bar. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright. Got no money, but I'll work it out with my charm, having a good time, ain't doing no harm. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright.
Okay, so here we are. We have 1:40:57 on the clock, and suspense is mounting. And I think I see Emily in the distance. Let's see if we can pick her up on the turn, way up there in the gray shirt. And if that is her, she will make it well under 1:45. So let's hope that that is her. That would be awesome. And that, I believe, looks like Emily. Looking great. Looking great. Got a drink job. Incredible job. Finishing under.
About the course. The course was in Corona Park in Queens. So it's about 45 minutes from my house on Long Island. Long Island. It's not the most exciting course. It's kind of boring. It has some cool stuff, like you pass this like globe thing. There's a zoo that you pass. You don't see any animals, but you smell them. And it's 3 loops, so if you're super bored, you're gonna be tortured. But for me, it kind of worked out because I was counting down the loops instead of the miles, and I think mentally that really worked for me. I've actually ran a half in this park before, and while I don't think it was the same loop, it was equally as boring, but I managed to get my previous half marathon PR here, so that's why I picked this race. I knew that it was generally flat and that I had been able to execute a PR in this park before, so why not try again? I wanted to stay under an 8-minute mile. At the start of the race, I managed to find the 1 hour 45-minute pacer, and on the back of his sign it said 8-minute mile. So I was like, all right, well, I do want to get a 145 here, hopefully sub 145. So let me stick with this pace group for a little while and kind of see how I do. So right at the end of the second loop of the course, which was probably around like 8-ish, 9-ish miles at this point, I started to evaluate what I wanted to do. Did I want to stay with this pacer and finish out and be comfortable and get a 145 and be happy with that, or did I want to kind of venture off a little bit and see what else I kind of had in the tank? So I decided to go with the second option and take a little bit of a risk. Towards the end of the second loop, I started to run ahead of the 145 pacer, but keep them at a safe distance. I was constantly like looking behind me a little bit to see sort of where they were, how far ahead I was, to gauge like, all right, maybe Emily, you're getting a little too crazy, kind of like reel it back in a little bit, or like you have a lot more, like go. I'll put up my splits here so you can see kind of where I was throughout the race. But if you see on the bottom here, I have a 7:45, another 7:45, and a 7:35 mile for the last 3 miles of the race. And then that last 0.1 where I was running for dear life to get to the finish line, I came in at about 6:47. And I felt really good. You know, some days just click, and some days you just have what it takes, and some days you really don't. And I've experienced plenty of days where my legs feel like lead and they just don't feel good. But luckily on Saturday, that's not what I experienced, and I just felt like I had it. So I went with it, and that's what you should do. It's all about taking risks sometimes in races. For 13 miles to be sub 8 was honestly like the biggest accomplishment of my running career thus far. This is interesting, and I'm not sure I would recommend this for everyone, but this is what I did, and I actually was like fine. So I had nothing on the course. I just kept running. In the morning, I had my 2 eggs, my muffin, some coffee and water, and that seemed to hold me up just fine. I wasn't hungry before the start of the race. I wasn't hungry on the way there, and I honestly like really wasn't hungry until maybe like mile 11. And at that point, I mean, what am I gonna do? Take a go at mile 11? I'm almost done with the race. So I didn't bother, but I didn't have any Gatorade or water or anything on the course. Now, again, I don't necessarily recommend this for everyone, but for me on the day, it just worked. I think if I had put in anything else into my body, I might have had an upset stomach, which is something that I struggle with once in a while, and when I do, it is bad. And I didn't want to risk that. Once I did finish the race, I had a Gatorade, I had a lot of water, and it's not like I felt like totally depleted or woozy or like I was bonking or anything like that. And I guess that just is a matter of the day. Like, do you feel hungry on that day? If you feel super hungry, then you should absolutely have a goo while you're running. If I had felt depleted in any way on the course, I would have absolutely had something, but I just didn't feel like that, so I went with it and just kept running. I won't spend too much time on this, but there is something that I do want to touch on. My watch worked totally fine, had no problems. My spy belt was totally fine, no problems at all. 2 of my biggest lifelines worked out great for me. Shout out Garmin, shout out spy belt. As you guys know, I also wore the Nike Vaporfly Next Percent on the course, right? Right. I didn't have any issues with the cushioning or rubbing around the ankle or blisters or hot spots or anything like that. But what I will say is that towards the end of the race, about mile 10 or so, my ankle and my toes on my right foot really started to hurt. Now, this isn't a sizing issue. These shoes fit me perfectly fine, but I do think it's a stability issue. So my guess is that my foot was overcompensating to try to stay steady on the platform and moving around like this. And after a while, that becomes uncomfortable and starts to cause discomfort. So that was something that I was definitely feeling towards the end of the race. And at one point, I was like, God, this is painful. I don't think I could run a full marathon in this shoe. I mean, I really honestly don't think I could. But maybe like if I spent more time in the shoe and did more long runs in it, I would be fine. But it is something that I wanted to know. I don't know if any other reviewers have felt this way, but it's definitely something that I noticed. I had said in my video last week that I wanted to go out there, lay it all on the line, and be comfortable feeling uncomfortable. And that's something that I'm not good at, and it's something that I wanted to try to become good at. And I have to say that I definitely did that. I put myself out there and said, hey, if I totally bonk, I totally bonk. And that's it. Like, there's other races. But I didn't bonk. And that shows me that maybe I'm selling myself short. And maybe you guys experience this too, and maybe you're selling yourself short, thinking that you're really only capable of one thing, but you're capable of so much more. If anything, that's the biggest takeaway. I felt calm, and I tried to think of this as just another long run, and forget the race aspect, and forget the PR aspect. Just go out there and do what you've been doing in training and see what it gets you. And that's exactly what I did. It really worked out. So hey, you guys might be capable of so much more than you think. So guys, that was pretty much my race. That was my New York City Turkey Trot half marathon PR of a 1:41:40. Far exceeded my expectations. As you know, I think I've said it 75,000 times during this video. But thank you for your support. Everyone who wished me good luck, everyone who congratulated me when I posted on Instagram about my time. I mean, thank you guys so much. If you like this video, please subscribe and hit that like button down below. And also hit that little bell for notifications on when I post a new video, because you want to be the first one to watch it, right? In the meantime, guys, get out there, get on the grind, and don't forget to run like Heller. I'll see you next time.
Down. All right, that's enough.